All right, guys, so this is a video on my Tacoma. It's been exactly 1 year today is the anniversary of when I first purchased my 2023 Toyota Tacoma. I'm going to go over everything with you, what I've done to it, what I like about it, what I don't, and so that when you go and buy your Toyota, you can make your decision for yourself. So here it is right here, guys. I purchased this a year ago, as I said before. I always wanted one of these trucks. I remember when this generation came out, it was the truck I wanted, like my dream truck. You know, I was thinking, man, I would love to get this. I remember going to the dealerships and looking at these, and I'm thinking, man, look at that, $40,000, $50,000. I'm not going to be able to afford one of those. Well, just so happens I moved over here to Idaho, sold my house, and I started working at a dealership, and that's how I came across this. And so I thought to myself, well, since I'm working at a dealership, I'll probably get the best price I'll ever get for a brand new vehicle. And I was making decent money there, and I figured, well, I'll just buy this and just go for it. So that's what I did. And I put everything on it that I wanted to, and I'll go over that with you right now. So it started off as a stock Tacoma, of course, brand new. I had like 45 miles on it. So I did this ready lift. Now, I don't know the whole details of it all, but it's a spacer in the front and a block in the rear, as you can see. They still use all the factory Bilstein, however you say it, shocks. And I was happy about that because they have nice suspension on these already, on these TRD off-roads. Plus, I didn't have to spend a bunch of money on it. Now, the next thing was the tires and wheels, of course. They happen to have these in the parts department, and I was just thinking, yeah, it's meant to be the color and everything. So I picked up these fuel wheels. I don't know the details on them or anything like that, but they are 17-inch, and the tires are the LT275 70R17 KO2s. They are smooth. They do great. I like them a lot. I wouldn't change anything when it comes to them because they're still quiet as well. Now, actually, I'm probably not going to go in the way I bought everything, but I'll just try to show you everything and then close with some stuff that I don't like. So we have the pedal commander here. Helps with throttle lag. It doesn't change horsepower or anything like that, but it changes your throttle response. Toyotas are known for their sluggish throttle response, and so I added one of these, around $300, and it made a difference. And it has, I think, 36 settings. And if you use this, Sport Plus, Plus 4, it's just ridiculous. You barely touch it and it goes. Now, it's been good so far. A couple times I felt like maybe it was like not, like maybe there was a glitch in it. And kind of like pulsating randomly recently. I could be wrong, but that's my only complaint on that. Also, I got the cold air intake from Rough Country. And I know what you're going to say in the comments. It's not a cold air intake. Well, that's what they call it. So call the company, let them know. But that's what they call it. So I added one of these. It's super loud. I did some videos on it. But I did feel a difference in horsepower and torque and response. But fuel economy still sucks like most Tacomas do. And the installation was really easy, online, YouTube, or the instructions as well. I've actually taken this off and went back to stock and then put another one back on. But I'm going to actually take this thing back off soon, just because it's loud. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, I added these. These are AVS. As you can see, you can bring your window down and still not have like rain and stuff like that come in. You still crack your windows. So I added those as well. I usually put them on all my vehicles. These are low profile ones. And then I also added these as well. These are caps behind the handles here. And it just kind of made the black, gray, black, you know, everything kind of go. This already came on it, blacked out. So it kind of goes together. Predator steps, I've actually taken them off, sold them, and then regretted it and bought them again because my kids use them to step in and out, but pretty much they're useless for me. I usually step over them all the time, but they look good. Excuse the mess in here. This is our daily driver. We do everything with it. 11,665 miles on it so far. Now this Tacoma came with a lot of different things. It came with different cameras on the front. They usually come standard with a reverse camera on the back, but this one came with it on the front as well. And just to let you know, when I looked for a Toyota Tacoma, this was the only brand new one that was on the lot. So I just took it for what it was. But if I had a choice, I would have went with the bare minimum SR5, the cheapest one possible, and then I would have added all this stuff to it. Next is this screen cover. I think it's important, $15, $20, whatever it was, bought on Amazon, and it protects that screen from getting scratched up. Dividers, this has been great too. Instead of a big old hole down here, you got this divider right here, and then you have those down there that separates everything. And it's a lot better than just having a big old hole down there. Bought one of these right here. This is actually a cover. Helps you not wear out this underneath here. Helps with the interior. I don't know why I didn't get seat covers, because I'm an idiot. But other than that, this has been really great, just so I'm not wearing out more stuff. My truck is actually ceramic coated and seal-jetted on the interior and exterior of the vehicle. It carries, jeez, I should know I sold the darn things. Like 7-year warranty or something like that. Spills, things like that. I spilt stuff in my truck and in other vehicles that we've had, and the stuff literally stays on top of the seat. It does not absorb in. It's crazy. It's like Rain-X on steroids, if you will. Also, the paint has it as well. Oh, and I got one of these as well too. It holds my cell phone really well. But before you get one of these and set it right here, find some different placements across your truck, because this has a big blind spot when this phone is sitting up here like this. So just keep that in mind. But it's been great. It holds firm and it's never been removed. I think I got it for like $15 on Amazon. I forget though. This right here, I love this thing. I think it was like $6 or $10 or something. Got that as well, eBay or Amazon. Hold your gas cap. All right. Just like that. They actually put those now, I think, on the 24s. Otherwise, you hang it off this lip right here. Next is this cover right here. This is a trifold, I guess you would call it, tonneau cover, solid fold 2.0 by Xtang. But this one's great. I like it. There are better ones and there are cheaper ones that aren't better. I got this one for a good deal, $100, brand new, and they're usually about $900. And by the way, I do recommend those if you do a lot of traveling. We go out of town a lot, and we throw stuff in the back, and Idaho weather could be a little bit unpredictable sometimes. So that's been great. And if you lock this tailgate right here, no one could get in. They literally have to pry on that. So that's another thing too. Now next is one of my favorite things I added to the truck that's kind of useless, but it's really cool. I'll show you. Here are the Tacoma Trail coolers and storage boxes. Now those only come standard on the Trail Tacomas. If you haven't heard of them, maybe look them up. But people have a tendency of removing these out of their vehicles. So I found some online, asked the guy if he'd do it for $100. He said, great. I went and picked them up and installed them. And it works with the cover. It's kind of a pain in the neck, but you can see right here. And you can fill it full of ice. There's a drain down in the back there. And yeah, so that's what I got that for. It does take up bed space though. That's an issue. And already being a short bed, it's pretty much useless as it is. So I made it even more useless. And here is the other storage. The good thing is it has a cutout here, so it doesn't block that plug. Oh, and I got these, I think, on eBay or Amazon. On the Tacomas, they don't usually come with these, only certain ones, but they're actually already pre-plumbed in or plugged in with wiring. So if you go online and buy these, you could go in here, pop off this tail light, and there's already a plug there, and you can add it yourself. I think I paid like $30 or something like that, but it's super easy. Hitch. I picked up this hitch. I did a lot of towing with this. I towed car trailers with cars on it, on this Tacoma, and it did good. It pulled them just fine, shifted good, but the problem was the rear suspension. Now it just would bottom out when I'd load a car on there, and it kind of, as you can see, they kind of slouch in the back anyways. So that's one thing about these trucks, that they're a little soft in the back. Now I don't know if the other ones are like that, but these ones are. And then this was great because I had double plugs, so I didn't have to carry that adapter with me all the time. But this thing did great. It towed what I needed to do. I sold the car trailer though recently. I mean, I was towing quite a bit with it. I maxed it out about 6,000 pounds, and it pulled it every little bit away. But the problem was, is it would bottom out a lot. And high winds, light truck, it kind of pushed you around a little bit. But it did it great. I mean, I could go 80 miles an hour with a car on the back pulling a hill, you know, with the intake going, bah, just super loud. Which was annoying, but it would do it the whole time. Now, I know this video is a little bit long, but I'm just going over everything with you, and I'm going to tell you some stuff I really don't like about it. My kids and my wife, we go out of town quite a bit. They sit back here, and here it is. All right, this is how they sit. I did some videos on it. It's a little tight, but that's about what it's good for. My kids are going to pretty much grow out of these seats, and they're going to sit in the back of here, and they're going to grow out of it pretty quickly. But one thing about my kids, no matter what, they don't listen, and they keep their feet pushed up against this. Now they don't. Naturally, they just stop doing it. But man, for the longest time, and being a new truck, I didn't want that problem, so I picked these up. Really cheap, nothing fancy. There are more expensive ones, more cooler ones, more name brand ones, but this one, I just got those, and they've been great. This did come with these all-weather floor mats that came from Toyota, which I totally recommend those. It's better to have these. If you can add these for $150 or something on your truck, do it, because they're better than any aftermarket. And sorry about the mess here. So I did buy a divider for this in here, but the problem was I had my car scanner and a bunch of stuff in here, so that's why I took it out. But there is a divider that I have. I just haven't put it back because I was going and shopping around for cars a lot. Now, I think that's about it. I should have wrote it down. This is pretty, you're getting it the way you're getting it from me. I'm not really, didn't write anything down. I'm just kind of going off the hip with it. Here, let me show you this. I also did this right here. This is from AVS as well. I mean, it helps with chips and stuff, but really it doesn't do much deflecting. It just kind of went with everything else on my truck. On this the American flag frame as well. Also, this did come with some fog lights, and these are they're LEDs and stuff, so this truck came with a lot more stuff than usual trucks. This came with the mud flaps on here as well. Now, like I said before, I took the steps off, and it just looks better like this. But realistically, if I use this truck real hard, these would just get tore off. But I like the way it looks. I love this truck. The way it looks, I'm happy with it. Now for the complaints. So here we go. Now, throttle lag. It's kind of a complaint. I mean, I did pay $270 for a pedal commander, but yeah, it is what it is. It does help pedal commander school, and kind of like with everything on this truck, I'm glad I did it all. I got it out of my system in a way, so I'm happy with everything. But there are some stuff that I don't much care for. Pedal commander's cool, a lot of settings, better throttle response, awesome. Intake, great, it's loud. I'm just kind of over that, but it still works. Now the lift, I love the lift, I love the look of it. It did make the suspension a lot tighter, or a lot stiffer, and a lot rougher with these tires and the bigger wheels. So that was kind of something that, unfortunate. It's a lot nicer and softer when it's stock. Now here's a big one. The gear searching is horrible. I can never use my cruise control. Like if I go on a trip, my foot has to stay on. Otherwise, it literally boom, 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 boom. It's just constantly, it'll shift the whole dang time. It won't stop unless you're on perfectly flat ground. But other than that, it still just searches the whole time. It's horrible. I cannot stand that about this truck. I don't know how many times I almost just took it in, because we do a lot of driving around and long distance. So on the highway, it sucks. I couldn't imagine living up in the mountains with this thing and then it just shifting. I mean, in the city though, it does great. I like it in the city. I don't find it gear searching or anything like that. It's actually fun cruising around. It does everything it needs to do. But man, that highway drive, not for me. Now, a lot of people complain about the seating. The seating's fine for me, but there is one thing I don't like about the seat. Is the adjustment right here, the steering wheel. For me, I mean, I'm not I'm not skinny, but I'm also not tall. I'm only 5'10", I weigh about 220, and my legs are hitting here like a lot. It's just really tight in there. I fit just perfectly, but if I eat pizza for a week, it seems like I can't get in there as good. So that's one thing I don't like. Another thing is fuel. MPG, fuel economy, horrible. Now, I know we don't buy Tacomas for MPG, but man, I'm getting about 15 miles per gallon on the highway and in the city, and I'll show you. So I had to go get my keys. All right, so here we go. The MPG 16.1. So I just went from Twin Falls, Idaho to Boise, back, drove around on the highway, 80 miles an hour to the 80 miles per hour is the speed limit there, and then this is what I'm averaging, about 16.1. And that's just from this trip. Usually I'm about 15 and a half, 15.9. And if I'm towing empty trailer, 12, full trailer, like with a Honda Accord on there, it's about 9.9 to 10.2 or something, 10 and a half. So between, let's just say 10. Another thing I don't care for is this is slow. You press a button, and I mean, half the time you got to press it multiple times. Sometimes you'll press it, nothing will even happen. The stereo itself, when you turn it up, the speakers, they're horrible. Also, crawl control, pretty much useless. It sounds weird. I mean, it uses the ABS. I mean, I don't know. I haven't used it. I used it once and it drove me nuts. So, yeah, I don't need it. Me personally, I don't. Locking rear diff and 4-low, yeah, cool. I'd like that. I could take that all day long. And at the same time, I can go without it too. That's why I was going to get an SR5, something more basic. Now, interior stuff like that, scratch is really easy. I don't know why. Once again, sorry about this truck being so dirty. But yeah, it just scratches super easy. These scratches have been in here since I've owned it, and they just keep getting scratched. So no matter what, it's very easily scratched. Blind spot monitors, things like that. My truck, I really like them. Parking sensors are great. You just gotta shut it off when you do your say you got a trailer going. ECT, great, awesome. Used it a lot when I was pulling trailers, so that's good to have. Right here, 4-wheel drive, kind of finicky. Sometimes it takes forever to click in, and then sometimes it works just fine. So what I found out is just do it while you're moving, and then it'll click in. If you're sitting still, for some reason, it doesn't like to. So that is my review, my 1-year anniversary of my Toyota Tacoma. Am I glad I bought it? Yeah, heck yeah. It's the coolest truck I've ever had. I mean, I've had some different trucks, but this was just one of those things that was just, every time I look at it, I just put a smile on my face. From where I came from before and where I'm at now in life, it's been a blessing, and every time I look at it, it'd just be a reminder. Not a prideful thing or anything like that. It's just how I was brought up in life, and with nothing, and not a whole lot, I should say. Just a little rough, and going through life, and then being able to have this, my wife, my kids, and stuff like that. It's just kind of really cool that I was able to get this. So I don't regret it at all. And anytime I get tired of it or get mad about the shifting of it, usually the next day I come out and I'm happy about it. So you could still get these trucks. There's still some new ones you could possibly get. I know they were discounting them very heavily at some dealerships. The one I used to work at, they were as well. And they got the new 2024 coming out. Would I buy the 2024? Yeah, because I'm a Tacoma guy, a Toyota guy. If I still worked there, I would have bought that new Tacoma because it could have got a little bit of a discount, and I would have made more videos for you guys. And I would like to drive it, even though it's got some issues, but what vehicle doesn't have issues? So, but I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna keep this and probably sell it, give it back to the dealership, maybe trade it on something where I don't have a payment anymore. So here's one last look at the Tacoma. I'm sorry this video took so long. I really tried to cover everything for you guys. Gear searching sucks. Fuel economy sucks. Reliability is great. Oh, there was one other thing I was going to say. So one thing that's happened with this truck, and I don't know if it's happened with anybody else, I'll show you. I cannot replicate it, but sometimes when I pull this up, my window will go up and then down while it's still pulled up. I got to get that checked out. The gauge cluster, when this in the RPM, this thing will kind of like skip. It'll kind of jump around a little bit, which is kind of weird.